Hi, it's Friday again. Welcome to Friday Sews. I'm Carol. This is Sew Carol. Hashtag Friday Sews was started by the lovely Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. She created the hashtag Friday Sews to get a community of sewers together so we could all chat and talk about our sewing, talk about what we're making, what we've made, and just a tiny bit about life. So thanks Jen. If you want to find any of the other sewers, just put in hashtag Friday Sews and you'll find men and women from all over the world. So first thing I've got to show you, I'm very excited to show you the bag I made for my holiday. So I used Simplicity 1556. It's a really good sort of gift pattern. I'm not sure if you can still get it. Sometimes you can find these things on Etsy, if not. I made one of the bags and I can never remember which version it is. I think it's either D or E, but they're more or less the same. And here it is. Now it looks enormous when I hold it like that, but if I hold it up here, you can see it isn't that big. Really, really pleased with it. The colours came out really well. It's got a nice drawstring, and inside, it doesn't come a suggestion of lining, but I've actually put some ripstop fabric inside, and I was really pleased because last week I was worried about I didn't have all my bits, the fusible fleece, the ripstop, but I had it all and I managed to line it. Now I don't do much lining, so I'm pleased with myself to be able to do that. And the nice drawstring. Now the reason I like it so much to use as a toiletry bag or wash bag is because I am very, very short-sighted, and when I take my contact lenses out at night and I'm somewhere on holiday, if you have everything in a normal toilet bag and it's all just in the bottom, to rootle round, I've more or less got to have my head in the toilet bag to rootle around and find what I want. But with this one, I can put all the important things around the outside. Toothbrush, eye makeup remover, contact lens solution. I can keep it all around the outside, so that is why it is so popular with me, and other people have liked it as well, apart from me. So that was really good. Got that one done. Now, are you ready for this? Because this was the Burda t-shirt that I made for my grandson who's 18 months. I used the Burda 9316. It's the first time I've ever used this t-shirt pattern. I normally just make a simplicity one I've talked about many times, just a basic t-shirt with a band all the way around, easy. This one is from 1 month old, so I think it would actually be slightly better. I mean, I made it in the largest size, but if you have a baby, you know that awful thing where you're trying to get the t-shirt over their head, having the poppers either side. If you look, most shop bought t-shirts for that size have poppers either side. So I did that. I made the 18 month, and I can see it would actually be a very good pattern for that. However, poppers and Maya, I talked about poppers. I probably talk every week about poppers. I hate them. I started off using this. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. This is the thing that comes with the poppers. And if you go on YouTube, there's a beautifully calming video about how to put poppers in. It's got calm music. It says you just put the 2 bits there and you just hammer it a few times. Well, that's great, but it slips, and as you can see, it doesn't line up now. So that's just recipe for disaster. So it did the first one fine, and then it was a right old mess. And as you can see from the photos that I'm going to show you, it involved a lot of wrenching out, and prongs weren't lining up, and it was just awful. Anyway, I did it, and here it is. Da, da, da. Isn't it so cute? It is. I just love making little things. I mean, you think this is 18 months, so the things I have made before would be much smaller than this. So I have 4 successful poppers on, and they do work, which is great. I am always worried about putting poppers on myself because I just worry that they're going to come off, the child's going to swallow them, or so that's why I really make sure they're secure. I prefer not to make things with poppers. I'm not sure I did it entirely right, is because the poppers are coming over from the back to the front. I don't know if it should have been the other way around, but anyway, that is it. You've now seen it, I can now pass it on. I really liked that. The next thing I was working on, I made a t-shirt for my daughter last week where I was putting the peplum base on it, like a gathered skirt. I was adapting this pattern, the very useful New Look 6556. I've made this lots of times for her before. I chopped off around the waist and I put an increased bit and gathered it around the bottom. Now, someone very kindly suggested to me that I use my serger to gather. I've never done that before. I did do it. I think it was if I had to change it to 5 and 4. I looked at some YouTube clips. That was fine, it gathered a bit, but not enough. But I found if I just run one load of running stitch on the machine, round the top, as well as that other gathering, it was really easy to gather up. So that's what I think I'll do in future. I'll do the gathering on the serger and then just run one row of basting thread and then just pulled up beautifully. So I haven't finished it at all, but I just want to remind you of the material. This was the material, so that's basically, it's a crop t-shirt at the moment. It's beautiful, it's so beautiful fabric. I'm very much hoping that there is enough left for me to make a t-shirt, and the t-shirt I want to make is the same as this one, with a beautiful flutter sleeves, and it's got a bit of pleating at the top. Now I'm hoping there's enough left of this fabric to make that, because this fabric deserves more than just a basic t-shirt. It deserves something a bit prettier, and I think it could work well with this one. This actually was a Burda t-shirt. Now I didn't realise till I started doing Friday sews how many Burda t-shirts and things I actually do make, but I obviously do use Burda a lot more than I thought. So this is 6329. If you look at the line drawings, it's just a very pretty flutter sleeve with some pleating. You can do a long sleeve version with a tie at the wrist. I've never done that, but I think that this fabric deserves that pretty t-shirt pattern. Now onto my Cinderella dress, and I've named it my Cinderella dress because it kind of reminds me of rags all stuck together. I do wish I'd had my fairy godmother with me when I was doing it, because I definitely needed some help. I cut it out beautifully. This was the Kwik Sew. This was the dress 4260. Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room made a Vogue dress out of some different coloured linens, which was stunning, and it really inspired me to dig this one out because I knew I had it. The Vogue dress was more interesting in shape than this. This is a bit more basic, but that's me. So I got the 3 different colours of chambray, and when I was putting it all together, I was cutting it out. I sorted what colours I wanted where, and because it's summer, I thought I'd want this big portion to be blue, the light blue, rather than dark, because I thought it'd be too dark. So I cut it out. I even cut it out properly. Now normally when I'm putting my pieces on the fabric, I kind of eyeball where the grain is. You know, you have that long line, that long arrow where the straighter grain is, and I normally eyeball it, but this time around I did it properly. I got my metre rule out and I measured from the arrow to the edge of the selvage. In fact, I was explaining to my husband what I was doing, so he actually took a picture of me doing it to show us actually for once doing it properly. I just knew that it would have to hang properly. So I made the dress up. Here's a picture of it on the mannequin, on that side. As you can see, a lot of you might think it's fine, and initially I was very pleased with it. When I put it on, I just didn't like that big light blue section. My husband actually said the word tent to me when I was wearing it, so I wasn't too impressed, but it worried me. For 2 days I worried about that dress because I just wasn't happy. It had pockets and I wasn't happy about the pockets. So much so, I now have detachable pockets because I cut them off because they just stuck out on my hips. And I thought, what shall I do? I thought, what would Jen do? Today in Jen's Sewing Room, Jen, she would unpick it. And I thought, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to unpick it. Well, that wasn't very clever because, of course, even if I unpick it, I couldn't move the pieces around to change the colouring. So I thought, I'm going to have to start again. So I did. I started again. I cut the whole thing out again. Luckily, I could use some of the pieces from the other dress, so the other dress isn't wasted. And I did it exactly as they show in the photo. And I've got it here, but I'll put the footage in. And I think it looks a lot better. That bigger portion being, and it doesn't make it look too dark. Doesn't make it look like a wintry dress at all. It's a fun dress. It's a holiday dress. I wouldn't wear it out in the evening, but with some pumps on. Oh, it's this swingy dress. It's a girly dress, so I think it'd be great for holiday. I got some new labels this week as well. My old labels were just the normal rectangle where you sew around the edges, but they frayed so much. It's ones I haven't had very long actually. I've got a lot of them, but they frayed. And I wanted to go back to, I've had some tab ones before, and I got some new tab ones. So it says Sew Carol on there. And just for a bit of fun, this time round, I've also put some washing instructions. Now, it's only a bit of fun because I just basically used 30 degrees, low tumble dry. I thought that would cover everything. But I do think that these look a bit more professional than my other ones. So this is the first garment to have one of my new tags in. So I am pleased with that, and hopefully I can wear it in France on my holiday. Now, I spoke about it last week, but Adam from Adam Sews and Lisa from the One Lisa Show are doing a challenge for June with prizes, I think, potentially. He made June 22. And I ordered some fabric to make my husband some shorts. I think I talked about it last week. I've made these shorts before for him. Kwik Sew 4045, and the fabric has come, but it didn't come in time for me to make it this week, so that gives me a job for next week. Camouflage. He's got a pair of camouflage shorts, and he absolutely loves camouflage, and especially if it's got pockets in. So it is a twill. I have washed it, so it has softened it up a bit. I'm really hoping it's not going to be too stiff by the time I add the side pockets, but that's my project for next week. My husband bought me a gift voucher from Minerva, and I've ordered a couple of things from it. I actually bought that from it out of my birthday money. I don't know why I did that, but to be kind. I ordered a couple of pieces of viscose jersey as well. One of them was this one. And does that not remind you of ice cream? I don't know why. Sorbet or ice cream. It looks a bit like a tie-dye. I don't know if it's butterflies, flowers. I've no idea. Is it animal print? I don't know. But it's beautiful weight viscose jersey. I'm hoping it'll make some kind of dress or something like that atop. I'm hoping it's not too opaque. When my husband, not my husband, when my daughter saw it, her eyes popped out. She thought it was just beautiful. So, and the other piece I got was this. And now that's one of my favourite colours, lavender lilac colour. So this is a viscose jersey again. This deserves to be some kind of floaty top, I think, as well. So that was 3 bits of fabric I got this week. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, when I'm sewing and I'm starting a new project, do you do what I do? And I'll be sewing away on the sewing machine and I need to go to the serger. It's a new project and I haven't checked what colour the thread is in the serger, and I kind of give that sort of sideways glance, sort of one eye, fingers crossed, that I can look across to my serger and see that the colours of thread on the serger will match my project. Are you the same? I mean, I have an air threader. I have no excuse. It's not that difficult for me to rethread my machine, but I always think, please, please don't be black and I'm sewing white, or vice versa. Are you the same? Are you a bit kind of lazy like me, or are you really good and you match it? You get it all lined up ready. New project, you threaded everything correctly and you know it's going to work. I don't know. Now, one other gift that I had for my birthday was from my son. Now something I asked for because I'd seen this before, and this is this little sidewinder. Now, I don't know how long they've been around. They might have been around for years, for all I know, but I really like it. It's to wind on bobbins, if you don't know, rather than use your machine and unthread it all. It's something that you can just sit in the lounge in the evening and in front of the television and just wind some bobbins. The funny thing is, and it's only when I went to show you, is I was putting the bobbin on like that. And as you can see in the footage, it kind of waggles around. So I was actually getting a screwdriver to hold it in place. And I thought there's got to be a better way, but then I realised that that actually pulls up. So it holds it much more secure. And it's only when I was bringing it out to show you. So that's really good. It's a fun little tool. I don't know if anybody else has got one of those, but if you're like me, don't like unthreading the machine or you're halfway through a project and you just need a bit more, you can just press that red button and it just does it, whirs all by itself, finishes off. It's great. At the weekend, I won't have much time this weekend because we're actually going to visit some relatives who live about 3 hours from us, and it's sort of going up, I say up country, but it really isn't north. We don't often go up that way, so we're going to see them, but we will have to stay a night up there. Now, I used to live in a different part of the country, and my very first job from school was a hotel receptionist. So I went to college to be a hotel receptionist, and I did work experience in this place. It's a very, very old coaching inn. It's called the New Inn in Gloucester. It dates back to 1450, so it's quite old. I knew it was old when I was there, but I was a 17-year-old. Things like that just go over your head. You don't care about history. So we are going to go and stay there. Now, I'll put a picture of it up for you. When I was researching it to tell you about it, I found out some historical facts that I had no idea. One of them was the fact in 1553, Lady Jane Grey was staying there, and that is where she was pronounced queen because I think it's her father, Henry VI. I probably got that wrong. I'm useless at history, but she was actually staying there at the time when it was announced that she would be queen. I think she was famously known as the 9-day queen. Another fact about that is that William Shakespeare potentially performed there. He used to perform around coaching inns in the area, and because it had a galleried landing, it is said that he actually performed there as well. It's got a lot of history. It has got potential for ghosts. I heard a lot of ghost stories. In fact, there's a lot of things that have happened there that have been unexplained. I know when I lived there, there was a very old manager that lived there, and he would tell me certain things. So who knows, we're going to stay there one night. The reviews aren't amazing, but that's not the point. It's the point of to go back in history a bit. I lived there. It was my first job, I think almost 40 years ago. So it'll be quite exciting to stay there just one night. And then we're going to come back on the Sunday, so hopefully I can get a bit of sewing done then. So I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for chatting with me in the comments. It's been brilliant fun chatting with you all. Thank you for watching me and finding me. And I think I've nearly been doing Friday Sews for a month now, so very excited how it's going. And I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody, and wish for good weather wherever you are, especially in the UK because we've had an awful summer so far. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you.